धवा कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी जया गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवर धारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजना यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. जय 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 प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की ताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Seventh Canto, Chapter 4, Text 1 and 2. Can we put text 2 because there is purport in text 2 only, so we'll recite that together. So we'll recite text 2 together. Yeah, but before that I'll just read text 1. Okay. Shri Narado Vacha Evam Vritas Shatadhritir Hiranyakashipu Ratha Pradata Tapasa Prito Varam Tasya Sudurlabhan. Translation. Narad Muni continued, Lord Brahma was very much satisfied by Hiranyakashipu's austerities, which were difficult to perform. Therefore, when solicited for benedictions, he indeed granted them, although they were rarely to be achieved. Text 2. Shri Brahmo Vacha Tate me durlabha pumsam Yan vrinnishevaran mama Tathapi vitarami anga Varan yadyapi durlabha. Shri Brahmo Vacha Tate me durlabha pumsam Yan vrinnishevaran mama Tathapi vitarami anga Varan yadyapi durlabhan. Shri Brahmo Vacha Tate me durlabha pumsam Yan vrinnishevaran mama Tathapi vitarami anga Varan yadyapi durlabha. Tate me durlabha pumsam Yan Mataji's. Thank you. Okay. Shri Brahma Vacha. Lord Brahma said, Tata, O dear son, ime all these durlabha, very rarely obtained, pumsham, by men, yan, those which, vrinishe, you ask, varan, benedictions, mama, from me, tathapi, still, vitarami, I shall deliver, anga, O Hiranyakashipu, varan, the benedictions, yadyapi, although, durlabhan, not generally available. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Lord Brahma said, O Hiranyakashipu, these benedictions for which you have asked are difficult to obtain for most men. Nonetheless, O my son, I shall grant you them, although they are generally not available. Purport. Material benedictions are not always exactly worthy of being called benedictions. If one possesses more and more, a benediction itself may become a curse. For just as achieving material opulence in this material world requires great strength and endeavor, maintaining it also requires great endeavor. Lord Brahma informed Hiranyakashipu that although he was ready to offer him whatever he had asked, the result of the benedictions would be very difficult for Hiranyakashipu to maintain. Nonetheless, since Brahma had promised, he wanted to grant all the benedictions asked. The word Durlabhan indicates that one should not take benedictions one cannot enjoy peacefully. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yad kripatamaham bande Shri Guru Dintarnam Paramanand Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tat Sat. Lord Brahma said, O Hiranyakashipu, these benedictions for which you have asked are difficult to obtain for most men. Nonetheless, O my son, I shall grant you them, although they are generally not available. Seeking all the blessings of all the devotees to speak on this verse from Canto 7, Chapter 4, Text 2, 1 and 2. Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe. In this chapter, as we see in the previous chapter, Hiranyakashipu with his very supposedly strong intelligence, I mean, at least he felt so, crafted a very special boon for himself to be asked from Lord Brahma. And and he thought he has cracked the code of the best boon. Because since the beginning, he had this misconception that Vishnu is a position. So, somebody has taken the form of Vishnu. Varaha is the form of that formless Brahman. And that form is awarded by Brahma only. Okay. Who has killed my brother. So, he ensured that he covers all the living entities created by Brahma in the boon which he has asked that he should be. Beyond the immunity, I mean, he is immune to the effect of all these different living beings. He thought that Varaha, or the form which is taken by Vishnu, he has lost his power because he has been partial. He was not really justified. So he has lost his power. Just like somebody who occupies a position in this world and doesn't, operate according to the rules and regulations of that position, he loses that position, or he loses the power of that position. So same thing he thought about Vishnu as well. So therefore, all that. He did all the austerities, and now he satisfied Lord Brahma and now Lord Brahma is granting the benedictions he has asked. And Prabhupada is writing a beautiful purport on the material benedictions. First of all, Prabhupada is saying that no, they are not benedictions only. And then he says why it is not a benediction. Because the more one has it, the more difficult it is to maintain them. And because it is more difficult to maintain, thus it may become a curse. Okay. So he is advising that one should ask what he can digest. Beyond digestion, one should not go and ask things. So that one can enjoy things peacefully. Not a problem with enjoyment, but then peacefully enjoy it, rather than becoming stressed about the opulences you have. Okay. It's very various angles to this purport we'll be discussing. So the point over here is Hiranyakashipu did everything right, in the sense, apart from his basic concept being wrong, everything he at least thought he did from the books, the austerities which he undertook from the books, sincerity from the books, very sincere. Can't find a sincere example than Hiranyakashipu sometimes, in terms of how he has done his austerities. The process he followed was very nicely done, sincerity was there, everything was there. But the thing was that his concept itself was wrong, that Brahma is disconnected from Vishnu. Brahma, how is Brahma connected to Vishnu? Right? He didn't know. As we read in Bhagavad Gita, that people do worship Devatas, but when they don't understand the connection between Krishna and the Devatas, then that is called avidhi purvakam. Or it gives the result which is temporary in nature. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita terms such people as alpamedhasa, scanty intelligence, small intelligence, because they are only able to see the small part, not the complete whole. How is Krishna connected to the demigods? How are the demigods connected to Krishna? That whole complete is missing. Therefore, when they worship also particular, even though with process, still it is avidhi purvakam, because it yields temporary results. It yields temporary results. So that concept of ownership was missing in case of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu was not clear about that, and therefore this benediction became a curse for him, because benediction at the end of the day then becomes material and then all those things. So the motive of Brahma of acquiring these benedictions was a problematic thing. It is difficult to obtain doesn't mean the hard work or austerities of Hiranyakashipu is discouraged over here or condemned. Anything we want to acquire in this world, we have to work hard. Very elaborate hard work Hiranyakashipu has done. Even to acquire spiritual goals, one has to work hard. To acquire material goals also, one has to work hard. There is no substitute to hard work. Sometimes one may think that spiritual life means chill, relax, no hard work. Hard work is important. That is not a problem over here. The problem is Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagwan ki jai, Gaur Nitai ki jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki jai. So the problem is not the hard work. Problem is that he is doing the work with an improper understanding. That is a problem. That understanding of position of Vishnu or Krishna, that is not there. So the hard work to acquire the material benedictions and therefore material benedictions are difficult, that's not the point. Or hard work is there to maintain them, therefore it is a problem, that's not a point. The point is, what's the connection between Lord Krishna and the benedictions and those who are giving those benedictions? That's a problem. That was a missing point. We see in the life of Srila Prabhupada how much hard work he did. People used to struggle to keep up with him, If you see the fight of Juhu, or so many things, creation of temples, hard work, austerities, penances. Okay, hard work is not an issue. And if one is doing hard work with proper consciousness, because unless hard work is done, we can't get anything. We can't get anything. Just like if I am cooking bhoga for Lord, if I am cooking rice for Lord, or somebody is cooking rice in the dhaba or a restaurant, will the process differ? It's not that since I am cooking for Lord, it need not be on fire. It can be up in the air and still it will cook. It will not happen like that. The process remains the same. Process remains the same. Whether we are aspiring for spiritual goals or as devotees we may be aspiring for material goals to be used for spiritual purpose. That also is a possibility. Because we may want certain things, we may want certain, aspiring for certain positions or this, whatever it may be. That's not a problem. It's problem as long as one sees that as the end and misses the goal. The goal is to serve the Lord. Goal is to use this in the service of Lord. Because it depends on the nature of the person. Somebody may be just Katwang Maharaj, I don't want anything. One moment they were offering material benedictions. Here he is doing austerities to get material benedictions. He was being offered on the plate, please take it. He was saying, no, done, I'm going. So between Hiranyakashipu and Katwang, there are many possibilities. Many, many possibilities. We may not be like Katwang, We may not be like Hiranyakashipu either. Then the possibilities are immense. So the problem is not the difficulty in acquisition of one should not feel that the hard work we do in getting the acquisitions is a problem. No, we cannot avoid hard work. We cannot avoid hard work. Arjun worked hard in Bhagavad Gita, we see. Of course, he was helped by Lord. He was helped by Lord. But doesn't mean that he didn't work hard. So, but when one is not ready to work in accordance with the need of the service and with improper understanding, that becomes jnana. That becomes jnana. That becomes jnane prayasam. That one is thinking, no, niti, no, not needed, no, I will not engage. Although one wants to. But no, I don't want to engage. But the connection of Lord with all these things is not clearly established. And the demand of the service is to work hard, but no, think it's no. That becomes jnana. Then my endeavor to understand absolute truth is jnane prayasam. Lord is not achieved by that. It's not achieved. Forget about Lord, we can't achieve ourselves. Lord, to bahut dur ki baat hai. So we can't even achieve ourselves because we are not being true to ourselves. Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says charlatan. No, Sanskrit, I don't know what. Charlatan. Better to be like that. The point is that we may, according to our nature which has been endowed to us, we may, but whatever is our nature, if one is a purely spiritual by nature, he has to work hard for spiritual goals. And then between that, one has to continue working hard. But work hard for what? That's the point. Work hard for what? That's the point. So abnegating work is not a solution. Renouncing work is not a solution. That is not a solution. Solution is to be properly situated in knowledge. Alpa medhasa. And what is that word? Dehi, that dukkha yonishu kaunteya, in that it says, no, that. What's the last line? It was the Buddha, intelligence. Again Buddha. Alpamedasa, Buddha, intelligence. So that intelligence has to be properly established. Then it is fine. Then even if one is engaged or one gets the result, one is not in the burden to maintain it. Because the focus is not actually to, why people, it becomes difficult to know that work which we say, parishram, after that fena, everything goes out. But so the point is, parishram is not a problem. Problem is when the parishram is done with an improper understanding and improper motives, then parishram leads to fena. It leads to burnouts. It leads to, let's leave it. So therefore maintenance becomes difficult. One is that the benediction itself is temporary. Adavanta. There is a adi, there is a anta. But sometimes people, before even anta of benediction, they lose the thing. They lose it, actually. Why? Because one feels, enough of it, done, it's okay. No, we get the benediction, we get the thing, and we very quickly become lost with it, in enjoying it, distracted with it, and all those things. And then finally the benediction or the opulence is lost. Because that's the nature of opulence. The nature of opulence is, it produces that, that attraction to, enjoy it. That's the nature of opulence. Senses, sense objects, that's the nature of sense objects, that it will produce that nature to enjoy. And as soon as one does the hard work, gets it, and then gets distracted. Therefore, maintenance is difficult. It's not that by itself sense object is a problem. By itself all these things are a problem. The problem is the mentality itself. When the mentality is to just enjoy, but not being engaged in service, not engaging it in Lord's service, then it becomes a problem. Either one loses enthusiasm, after getting the things, or one becomes puffed up by getting those, and what happens in case of Hiranyakashipu, he became so proud, it became difficult for him to handle. Then eventually, from the most unexpected area, he was being destroyed. Prahlad Maharaj, his own son, 5 years old. Most unexpected area. He never expected that. That's what happens when the opulences go in the head. They go in the head. Then that produces that kind of effect. One in the most unexpected area, one will be hit. Most unexpected area. So that is a problem. That's why maintenance of the benedictions become difficult when the conscious is not to serve. And what happens is that in the sadhaka stage, it's a transition, it's a journey. It's not that it's always it's a constant struggle to ensure that it's not going in our head. First is that important to acquire if that is needed for the service of Lord, like Prabhupada did. Okay, Prabhupada did. He did acquire. And after acquiring it, not getting drowned in the mellow of enjoying it, then it will be difficult. Then once it will be taken off, then one will be like preserving it, doing all the nonsensical things to preserve it. Because while it was there, I didn't use it for Lord. I used it for myself. Therefore, when it goes, then one starts showing some weird patterns, Then one starts showing some weird patterns. तो वो चीज़ भी जाती है, इज्जत भी जाती है, सब कुछ चला जाता है अल्टीमेटली. चीज़ तो जाएगी, but everything goes off with that. Okay. And for the sadhakas, this is a constant struggle. I am doing service, at the same time such desires will keep coming, and we have to keep introspecting ourselves, our own heart, and rekindling the medhasa, rekindling the buddha, so that we are clear as to why I got whatever I got, how I have to use it, and not allow it to go in my head. Not allow it to go in my head. That's something Brahma knew, that Hiranyakashipu will not be able to handle it, because he was far, far away. He had the gyan. It was seen. He had the gyan, but he didn't have a heart. His heart was envious of Vishnu. He just had gyan only, nothing else. Nothing else. It was just gyan. Because as we told, unless there is a heart and there is a spirit to serve the Lord, then it becomes gyan only. Gyane prayasam. One gets bewildered. The same gyan only becomes the source of one's trouble. So here Brahma was very confident. Brahma is after all the most intelligent being, he is offering benedictions. So, in the next verse also it says that Brahma is like the most intelligent being, in this way benedicted and went away. So Sukdev Goswami is also giving an indication, that it's not that he was a fool, he was like carried away by the praises of Hiranyakashipu. No, not like that. He knew it is going to anyways be the source of his own destruction, what he is asking for, and it will be a big example for the world. Not for now, but for time to come. It will be a very big example that even though one has done everything, one is having all skills, one is having all capabilities, one is having everything, but one is not having a right heart, one is not having the right understanding, then the same thing becomes a source of one's destruction. And there are so many examples of that. In the contemporary world, so many nations, so many kingdoms, so many empires, they have all evaporated because of this mentality. It's like, this. So therefore it is useless to, therefore it becomes a curse. Because had it not been there, the puffed up psychology wouldn't have fructified, and therefore it would have been at least a better journey. But here it goes to a different problem. And when one is having intelligence, then one will be able to discriminate. Because as devotees also, we will be engaged with matter. You can't avoid matter. It is there. It is there every time. Subtle, gross, whatever is there, it's all there. Followers, positions, money, everything will be there. Everything is going to come. The only saving grace is Medhasa. Only saving grace is Buddha. Intelligence coming from Lord. And ensuring that we are not becoming, of course as sadhakas we are definitely not envious of Lord, but extensions of Lord in form of devotees, we are not harboring envy. Even then the knowledge doesn't get digested. Even if I am reading, hearing so many things, the intelligence as mentioned over here doesn't get manifested if one is envious to devotees. And envious to devotees. Exactly the opposite of one is what one is, saying will happen if there is envy to them. So it's a matter of cultivating one's heart and one's intelligence on a regular basis. Only then we will be able to, let's say the benedictions come, we'll be able to enjoy peacefully. Not getting disturbed. Prabhupada says the word Durlabha indicates that one should not take benedictions, one cannot enjoy peacefully. Means there are certain benedictions which one can enjoy peacefully also. It's fine. One will not be disturbed about it. One will not be disturbed about it. One will not be, if it comes, one will do this. If it's not coming, he'll not go mad after it. Because he knows that, no, the goal of my life as a devotee is to ensure I walk on the path of my balance, to please the Lord and engage in His service throughout. That's it. So it comes, it comes. It doesn't come, it's okay. Let's move on. So that's the heart of that. But unless there is a heart of surrender to Lord, and unless there is an intelligence activated on a regular basis with a mood of service to devotees, it's impossible. It is just impossible. We'll fall in the same trap. We will also acquire something. It's not about the quantum of benedictions. It's about even the small benediction will become difficult to maintain. It's not about that. It's not about that one has to actually have 1000 kgs of benediction so that it becomes difficult to maintain. The 1 gram of material benedictions will also become difficult to maintain if this is not there. And this is there, then 10,000 kgs and whatever. Yudhishthir Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, examples of it. They are never distracted because they were very clear. So that's the point, That's why, there's one, I want to read one purport of Srila Prabhupada, which clearly talks about it. It comes in 9th canto, where, I just take it out. Where Prabhupada is saying that, where, how actually this intelligence is important. Because as long as we are engaged in this material world, the sense objects, the matter is going to produce its effect. The qualities of matter are such, it will pull us down. It will pull us down. But what is going to protect us is Buddhava. So let me just quickly, this is King Pururava enchanted by Urvashi. Anyways, it's Prabhupada is mentioning over here, it just struck me. It is that even if one is in the position of king or government and all those things, generally self-realization is difficult. Prabhupada is mentioning that point because there are so many material things which come along with that. But then Prabhupada gives a very, very powerful point, and he says that, sthane sthitasya dharmasya. And then he says that why associating with Srimad Bhagavatam on a regular basis is very, very important. Because that is the intelligence, that is a source of intelligence for a devotee. Association with Srimad Bhagavatam on a regular basis. To start off, it is good, but to maintain, to continue with all these struggles, to maintain, continue doing it, that is what is going to protect a devotee. That is what is going to keep the devotee's consciousness right size. Okay, that is getting too much, it is getting too less, it is getting this and that. Only then one will be either able to ask the benedictions which are actually useful, or will be able to maintain the composure if the benedictions or the desires being asked are not fulfilled. And when whatever comes, he enjoys it peacefully. It's not going in the head. It's not going in the head, Going in the head means, when the benediction goes in the head, it means what? That one who is not having it, I see them as low and I am high. We call it superiority complex, So somebody who's having this complex, the name itself is complex, Complex. It's very complicated. So when I have it, I start seeing differing. Therefore, service to Vaishnavas are very important. Because one will get knowledge, or also a material benediction sometime. One will get. And one will start feeling, one can use what is not material and what is not spiritual. That itself is a big subject of discussion. So everything can be material, everything can be spiritual. Depends on what is the motive, what is the objective I am having in my life. How right size is my consciousness, in my journey of spiritual life. That is what is going to be important. That's why, Hiranyakashipu is going to have tough time. Because he was, Hiranyakashipu's example, like, best of hard work, best of penances, benedictions being answered, but absolutely envious of Lord, absolutely lack of intelligence and far away from self-realization. And therefore all this happened, So we can find ourselves somewhere in the middle, okay. So that's why these stories are there in Bhagavatam, to remind us what is that we need to focus on, what is that we need to, ignore. Okay, so that's the point. And any comments or any questions? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
You just explained very nicely the material benedictions and spiritual benedictions. There are spiritual benedictions, na?
Yeah.
So, while giving spiritual benedictions by Lord to you or some people, the Vaishnavas, so is there the energy is given to what you say, it should not be go in the head or that? In the spiritual, it's a benediction of spiritual benediction. So it should not be gone in the head. So is it the power is empowered by the God? He is giving the benedictions. So is it empowered by the Lord, or it should be maintained by ourselves by using your intelligence? Is my question.
Right. Nice question, Prabhu. Thank you. So what is spiritual benediction? Spiritual benediction is increase of faith, increase of service to Lord, increase of love for Lord. That's a spiritual benediction. Getting a position is not a spiritual benediction per se. When it comes by accord of devotees, we regard it as spiritual because I am using it for the service of Lord. So first let's understand spiritual benediction, it can never become a curse. Because spiritual benediction actually means getting more taste for the Lord and Lord's holy name and service. And even if we want it to go to head, we really want it to go to head. That is not going to head, everything else is going to the head. That's a problem. So we want it to go to head, for sure. Now the point comes when we get something in the course of our devotional service, certain things or certain objects or certain positions and all those things. Even in the domain of devotional service, when we get it, still we have to be careful. Because even though it is for devotional service, one may misuse it for oneself. Because then what is material and what is spiritual? Material means what? It is like Chaitanya Charitamrita explains that, it's about satisfying oneself. So where one cannot satisfy oneself, forgetting, exploiting others, one can do anywhere. With the so-called things which we may get in the course of our service, we may do the same thing. Thus, whether that is spiritual benediction, yes, if it is used for service. It's a material benediction, yes, if it is not used for service. And something like, forget about domain of devotional service. Somebody is getting some money, but he is very rightly placed in the consciousness and he is using it in a proper way to serve the Lord. Then is that material? No, it's spiritual. So when this domain comes where there is an element of engaging it in service of Lord, there one has to be always careful. The care has to be maintained. Okay. So when Dhruv Maharaj, when he got the kingdom, so he was like, I just want to see you, that's it. So he was asking for spiritual benediction. Prahlad Maharaj asked for spiritual benediction, that I always want to serve my spiritual master, So these are the spiritual benedictions. But Lord may give us certain things, devotees may give us certain things, Guru's mercy may give us certain things, but then if it is to be engaged in the service of Lord, then one has to be very careful using that.
So just now you explained that intelligence is also given by the God. Intelligence also given by the God.
Yeah.
So if intelligence is given by God, who is going to decide that it is should be used in Lord service or material use like this? If you are Atma, so intelligence is given by God. So how you can just explain this?
Yes, intelligence is given by Lord. Along with intelligence comes the free will also. The desire of the jiva. How he wants to. So just like a child, he is there with his parents. Parents will give him the nice advice. This is how you have to behave. This is how it will help you and all those things. But it's up to the child also then. Okay. It's not that since the child is of the parents and thus parents have told this and then this is going to happen. No, that will not happen. Because it always depends on the child how much he has assimilated the mood and the instructions of the parents. Then it will depend. So there is always a work which jiva also has to do of making a right choice. Okay. Yeah. As long as one is in this material world, yeah. Spiritual world means no. Yeah, I mean it's all the level of love where no one is having spiritual body, spiritual mind, spiritual intelligence. There's no problem. But here we are dealing with so many elements now. सेंसेस आप कंट्रोल करने जाओगे तो माइंड उधर भागेगा, माइंड को कंट्रोल कर लिया तो इंटेलिजेंस भाग जाएगी, ये कर लिया तो वो हो जाएगा. We are in a different situation right now. So therefore one has to be always careful. Yeah.
Prabhu, thank you very much for explaining this nicely. You mentioned a point that if hard work is not performed aligning with the Lord's and Superior's plan, then it becomes Gyan Prayas. Correct? So, in sadhaka's life, what can be the possible causes? Like you said, if hard work leads to burnout, if it's not aligning with the plan of the Lord and Superiors. So, what can be the possible causes that though the hard work of a sadhaka is aligning with the Lord's and Superior's plan, it's leading to feeling of burning out, etc.?
Very good point, very good question. Thank you for asking that. And Lord Krishna gives some advice over here, and where he says, ahar, what is that? Eating, sleeping, yukta har viharasa, recreation. Whatever is there, do it in moderation. So when we say hard work, it's not that mode of goodness doesn't have hard work. Mode of goodness also has hard work. But there's a moderation. One knows one's limit. One knows what is one's, okay, it is going in a difficult regime and all this. So one balances it out. Therefore, balance becomes important. Therefore, understanding that I have different needs, that becomes important. Because balance is not achieved unless knowledge is there. When knowledge is there, then balance comes. The balance means moderation. Moderation means burnout will not happen. So hard work will also happen, but it will be sustainable. Because what happens usually, in case of burnout, what happens is that one is working hard, but neglects the other part of our life. And that causes an issue. So therefore, Lord Krishna is advising moderation. That's the point. Make sense or no?
As superior, we should also take care that the subordinate does not, on the name of aligning with my plan, you should not go on the extreme burning out side.
Yeah. So that is where also balance is needed. In relationships also we need balance. What kind of expectations we are setting with everyone depends on us. See, sometimes things keep on going in our mind, but we are not telling it. And when we tell it, we literally, fire comes out of our mouth. So it has to be a very, a relationship set on the realistic expectations, Okay. There will always be pushes and pulls, but one has to, in a very matured way and Vaishnava way, one has to set the expectations very carefully. And maintaining the respect also. Let's say there is a superior and who is too demanding. I mean, there are bosses like that, right? So one has to also have that respect, not that just that one element. We have to take it and expand it, magnify it so much that and zero it down on the personality. Just like I have a certain capacity, he has a certain capacity, it's fine. So I maintain that respectful relationship as well. And at the same time, communicating my needs and expectations. That's a balance one needs to have. It's important, and it's very easily possible, because we assume this person will not understand, this person will not understand. A lot of assumptions. Okay. And even after telling one is not understanding, then I think we have one is always very free to, kind of, explore, because it's very important that one is not getting choked up. We can't sustain. Tough to sustain them. So, generally it should work out with good communication. Generally. If it doesn't, even after reasonable communication, then one should be intelligent enough to preserve oneself. So, preserve oneself. Yeah. Preserve oneself.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Makes sense. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Atmaram Gauranga, for revealing the intentions and actions of Hiranyakashipu and that mentality, as Prabhupada says, tiny Hiranyakashipus, which we have to deal and how to deal with that. So my question is just going further of what Sudhamanath Prabhu asked actually, is there is something called mid-age crisis, which is a very serious thing which one has to face in life. So how do we identify, as you said that one has to identify his nature and engage in Krishna's service. Enjoying in Krishna consciousness while engaging in Krishna's service. So we have to identify that. So that is one principle which is spoken at many places in Bhagavatam. As well as principle of surrender is spoken and worshipped in Bhagavatam. So how do we see this? Because the mid-age crisis has to be dealt with the individual, right? While serving his Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. So can you please put some direction and put some light in this?
Thank you for kind words, and again a very deep, hot question. I don't want to. It's a valid point, and again I think somewhere we have to understand the importance of balance in one's life from the beginning of our Krishna consciousness. It should not be a post-mortem analysis. Once everything is done and dusted, and then we start doing post-mortem. Oh, I could have done this. Because that's what the philosophy with Lord Krishna is also talking about. If we clearly see Bhagavad Gita, what is Lord Krishna talking about? He's talking of, the philosophy is also Achinta Bheda Bhed, very balanced, Lord and his energy is simultaneously one and different. Right, this thing. So, one thing is that, surrender doesn't mean that one has to. What is surrender basically? Surrender means one has accepted Lord as one's master, and one is trying to serve the Lord and his devotees according to the situation one is in. One accepts that and one continues serving the Lord. And one happily does that. Surrender does not mean that that the service to the Lord which we are talking about, it means actually, that is also coming more from Gyan only, this whole understanding, that surrender means actually to give up what I have. That's not surrender. Surrender means to use what I have. To use what I have in the service of Lord. That is what is surrender. Because if I give up, then what will I use? Let's say if I have a kitchen and my kitchen has potatoes, somebody's kitchen may have paneer. So they are offering paneer, bhoga to Lord, I am offering potato to Lord. But if I say that no, offering to Lord means you have to give up what you have, then if I throw my potatoes out, then what do I offer to Lord? I don't have anything to offer then. So surrender means using one situation. Now that is very, very, that's a key point of Bhagavad Gita, always. That's a key point of Bhagavad Gita. So, only when individual, and you rightly pointed out, such things, what happens when what happens that no, when we spend a lot of time, because there are hormonal changes also which keeps happening. When we are in young age, we are so jubilant. Not only when we come to Krishna consciousness, even if you wouldn't have been here, if you would have been elsewhere, people do the same problem. I mean, there's something they may do, some decisions they may take, which is like in not understanding the long-term impact, because that's how the age is. You want to get the going, get things done, and also somewhat that kind of thing may come. So and when we touch 40 plus, that whatever age you are mentioning to, then the hormones settle down, and then everything starts to becoming, then one may start thinking, oh, whatever I did, and all those things, that reflections. So best is, from the beginning, one has to identify what is my situation, what I have been awarded by Lord, and use it in Lord's service, and not get distracted from this thought. Then the midlife crisis will not come. Then the midlife crisis will not come. Because what has happened is that one has used, because Lord was aware of all this, that's why Lord has created a certain systems in place. Okay. So if one just follows the Lord's system, it's all perfect actually. Then actually, in the midlife, when people actually face the identity crisis, or whatever, where am I? Because I don't have that kind of, sometimes in corporate life also it happens with people, Suddenly after 40 you feel, am I relevant, am I relevant, so all those things. Because there are people, because what I was continuing to work on, that can be easily replaced by somebody who is very new. Something similar only happens, everywhere. Very quickly replaceable, replaced. Because actually what I continued working on, ideally I should have been moving up the value chain and talking, getting into the zone of wisdom, getting into the zone of a different thing which they can't do. So Lord's system is such that one will keep moving ahead if one follows the system. So there cannot be a mid-age crisis, so to say, from that perspective. But if one follows the system, the problem happens is, the systems are not followed. Then the problem happens. Otherwise, it's very simple. It's a problem which cannot be solved. Sometimes you can just lament about that problem when you see around. Because what had to be sorted was lost long back, and what has to be, then it becomes very cumbersome. Because as I told, you have to keep growing. Even in spiritual life, one has to keep growing. I can't keep doing the same thing. And Lord's system is such that it will push us, move us ahead. If we follow the system. If I don't jump in the boat, then what will happen? If I keep saying that the boat is a problem, this is a problem, that is a problem, then it's fine. I'll be just around, but I'll not be even inside. I'm on the shore only. And then sometime later I realize, this guy has gone to the island and I'm here only. I'm just saying that boat is a problem. It is an issue. So it's very important that one follows the Lord's system. In a sense, that is a point. Then all this crisis, and that is surrender to Lord also. I'm following the Lord system and using what I have in Lord's service. What else is surrender? This is surrender. And then there is no question of why will Lord put people in his system to go through mid-age crisis. Why will he do that? No, he will not do that. Make sense?
Maybe one or two statements if you want to say that identifying what I need and what I have itself is a big thing. Because we are getting attracted to paneer, we are getting attracted to all other external things. He is offering paneer, he is offering gulab jamun, he is offering, but what I have, potato or what is there, tomato is there or what is there. So how do we actually focus on what I have and what I need? So quick, I am sorry for beyond 9-10, but...
No, it's perfectly fine, Roji. Kids are also coming. What need and I have is, it will be, it says no word Durlabha indicates one should not take benedictions, one cannot enjoy peacefully. Needs and wants only. That's the point. Needs versus want. It becomes a lifelong battle to understand what is my need and what is my want. If one is not having the right understanding of the philosophy, and if one is not honest enough. See, when we are in this material world, not just about Krishna consciousness or anyone, it's a wavy place. It just waves keep coming and going, It's like, just keeps coming and going. So like fads and fashions will come and keep and come going, You should be clear, what is my boat? That is very important. That's why Prabhupada in one place it tells that no, spirituality is for rugged thinkers. Rugged thinker, what a word, rugged thinker. It's rugged thinking. It's not a usual thinking. It's slightly rugged, It means to go against the flow and think not the usual. Even the flow within, flow. Just actually thinking what is actually what I am here for. So rugged thinking. But that's how this material world is. It will just keep coming. It will never stop. It will never stop. Only thing is we have to be very clear. That's why reading Prabhupada books is extremely, extremely important. And Buddhavad. So focusing on that element of intelligence and understanding what are scriptures trying to tell and being honest to oneself and serving devotees. Then Krishna will show the path properly. Okay, it's fine. Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्णा। तो भक्तों के लिए एक सूचना है कि आप सबको पता है कि हिज ग्रेस और लक्ष्मण प्रभु के पिताश्री ने कल देह त्यागा है। सो उनको कातरेज क्रिमेटोरियम में 10 बजे लेके जाया जाएगा। इसलिए सभी भक्तों से अनुरोध है कि 9 से 10 बजे के बीच में द्वारका नगरी में आके पुष्पांजलि के लिए आप आ सकते हो उधर, और तो सभी भक्त वहाँ पे फिर कातरेज में भी जा सकते हो उधर। हरे कृष्णा। 9 to 10 द्वारका नगरी और 10 AM कातरेज क्रिमेटोरियम में उनके बॉडी को लेके जाया जाएगा। हरे कृष्णा।